Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The Redevelopment Agency meeting of January 7th, 2009 is called to order. This meeting has been properly noticed and posted in compliance with the open meeting law. These proceedings are being presented live on KCLV Cable Channel 2 and are closed captioned for our hearing-impaired viewers. The Redevelopment Agency meeting, as well as all other KCLV programming, can be viewed on the city's website at www.kclv.tv. The proceedings will be rebroadcast on KCLV Channel 2 and the web the Wednesday of the meeting at 8 p.m. and also on Friday at 4 a.m., Saturday at 7 p.m., Sunday at 7 a.m., and the following Monday at 1 p.m. I make this announcement every time we start a meeting. We have a state-of-the-art fire sprinkler system in the council chambers here, and should the alarms activate, and we have no reason to believe that they will, just exit and wait outside until our marshals say it's safe to come back in. As I say, this is just precautionary. It hasn't happened. I don't believe it ever will happen, but we do it just to make sure everybody is safe and secure. All right. We will call item number 3, discussion and possible action regarding a First Amendment to agreement for the installation of a replica of the Liberty Bell with Let Freedom Ring, Inc. and the City of Las Vegas Redevelopment Agency to install 2 identical plaques in honor of the Ralph Engelstad Foundation on the east and west sides of the Liberty Bell, located in Centennial Plaza at 4th Street and Lewis Avenue pedestrian corridor. This is in Ward 3. Mr. Adams or Mr. Olivas? Who would like to make this presentation?
I can handle that.
Very good.
Yeah.
Mr. Adams.
Scott Adams, Operations Officer of the RDA. This is a simple amendment to the agreement that provided for the installation of the Liberty Bell on Centennial Plaza. If I can get the overhead pulled up.
It's Scott, it's just on your monitor.
Oh, okay. There, I see it. So we're on that one. The Liberty Bell was accommodated on Centennial Plaza by agreement. This is to recognize 2 plaques that would be installed on the Liberty Bell. You can see here there would be one on one side and then one on the converse side to recognize the Ralph Engelstad Foundation as being the major contributor to the fabrication and installation of the Liberty Bell. So it's a fairly simple amendment. There's a public recognition involved here, and we felt it important that it be done by amendment to the agreement. So staff recommends approval.
All right, thank you very much. Are there any questions for Mr. Adams or comments? All right, Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, Your Honor. I make most of all test recommendation for approval of this item.
All right, there's been a motion. Let's vote, please. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 4 is discussion and possible action regarding a First Amendment to parking license agreement with FAEC Holdings Warula LLC and the City of Las Vegas Redevelopment Agency to grant an additional 150 general access parking pass cards in the structured parking garage beneath Neonopolis, located at 450 Fremont Street, and that is in Ward 5. Mr. Adams.
Okay, this is an agreement, this is another amendment, First Amendment to the parking license agreement that you previously approved in October. It provided initially 50 parking spaces at no cost to accommodate Telemundo and other anchor tenants at Neonopolis. This would provide an additional 150 parking spaces for employees and guests at no cost, tied to the prospective installation of the Star Trek Experience exhibit at Neonopolis. This is specifically tied to the owner of Neonopolis improving and opening the Star Trek Experience exhibit. The amendment specifically provides that they have to open it and keep it operating, and we would provide the passes when they open the facility. It's an amendment to the existing agreement. That existing agreement ran for 5 years with a 5-year amendment, so it could go for 10 years. It does provide that if they ever cease to operate the Star Trek Experience in Neonopolis, we can pull those permits back. So it's very performance-oriented in terms of the amendment tied to the Star Trek Experience. I could sidebar here. I did go to New York with Joshi and met with the CBS people. They have a group within CBS that handles all of the licensing of their intellectual property. And they are very, very, very much in support of moving the Star Trek Experience exhibit, which Mr. Joshi purchased from the Hilton, into Neonopolis. As you may know, you've probably already seen some of the ads on it. They're opening, CBS and Paramount, a new movie, a new Star Trek movie this coming summer, and they would like the exhibit, at least a portion of the exhibit, open shortly thereafter. And I think I'll let Joshi speak for himself, but believe the time frame for getting this up and running is either sometime from the summer through the fall in terms of getting some portion of the exhibit open and operational. I'll mention that it came up yesterday in briefing that Joshi had owed an outstanding balance on the sewer lien on the project on Neonopolis. He did come in yesterday late and make a substantial payment against that lien. I don't know, maybe Mark, you can address it a little bit further in terms of what the balance is remaining.
Mark Jensen, Interim Deputy City Manager. Mr. Joshi did come in and make a payment today. There are some issues with respect to credits due back for vacant suites. We can send a sewer inspector there this morning to validate that credit. We believe there's also some penalty calculations that are also due, and there's a payment that was previously made that we need to verify. We could do that this morning, but I couldn't have that information ready for you this morning. Could potentially have it by noon.
Yeah, as I appreciate the way it worked, he made a payment for what he believes is the net of his outstanding balance with all those credits put in place. So I think the appropriate thing might be to do here is staff recommends approval of this amendment, approving it with the condition that once that calculation is complete, if there is an outstanding balance owed the city, we not release any permits under this amendment until that outstanding balance is paid. Right now, it appears that he's paid what he owes after you make the calculation for the credits for the vacant space.
Well, I asked Mr. Roby whether or not the check bounced, and he assures me that it's good.
It is good.
All right.
Thank you, Mayor.
So I think he settled up with the city based on Jillian's being vacant, being given credit for that and a past payment he's already made. And once that gets settled, it should zero out. Should there be a balance in favor of the city, I would recommend that we approve this with the condition that that balance be paid before we actually release any permits.
All right, thank you very much. Are there any questions of Mr. Adams or any comments?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes,
If I could just, what is the total number of parking spaces there?
555 spaces.
And with this amendment, we would have then provided 200 of that to employees within the project. Now, we're doing this with the understanding that in order to get these tenants anchored in the building, they need to park their employees. And it's an incentive, really, to get them to anchor and come into the building to start to refill that space and make Neonopolis a more viable project.
So you're saying 200 are given to him, to his company to use, the Neonopolis, and the remaining of the 555 is for other people who are coming in to use the
It would be operated,
And
we
then
would operate the garage the way we've been operating it.
And he does not have access to these parkings unless they have already, he's paid up everything, which we think he has, going to make a final check.
And he opens
Star Trek.
the Star Trek
That was
exhibit.
my third thing, and
Right.
it has to be opened, and this is only as long as it exists.
Right,
Once
that's
it's
correct.
gone, once it's
Ceases to
gone.
operate, we can pull them back.
Thank you very much.
Any other comments or questions? All I can tell you, Mr. Rohit, is I hope that we're able to provide the parking to you, because if Star Trek comes down to Neonopolis, it'll be a terrific boost to what we're trying to accomplish in the downtown area. And I would hope that you'll do whatever you can to make it a holistic type project. If there's any way in the world you could bring the whole kit and caboodle down there, instead of doing it in two pieces, I think it would be to everybody's benefit. I know it's tough to raise the money, but I think it'd be worthwhile if everything opened up at the same time with particularly with the Star Trek movie that's coming out. It's like it's a marriage there. It's all the planets are lining up in a good way. So I hope you're able to do something along that line.
We will. As a matter of fact, I was just telling Scott that I'll be meeting with Paramount Studios executives tomorrow, a gentleman called Michael Bartok, who is working with Gene Roddenberry right next to him in Los Angeles for all his life, and he'll be with us tomorrow. And he agrees that we should do a very large Star Trek attraction at Indianapolis. Their whole team has come here twice now and spent a lot of time in downtown, and they're very excited, and they feel they'll be able to open it up by May of this year, first phase, and a year later for the entire project, which includes simulators and rides. And remember, the technology has changed so much that we're going to be working very hard with their technical experts to do something that's going to last for years to come.
All right, very good. All right, Councilman Barlow, your motion, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Comment before my motion. My initial intent, Mr. Roshi, was to actually hold this item due to the outstanding balance that you have with the city, because you promised this council a couple meetings ago that the balance will be paid prior to coming back, and that has not taken place. So, Mark, Mr. Vincent, you had mentioned that we will be sending out an inspector to validate the fees in which Mr. Roshi owes the city as far as the sewer fees?
Yes, Councilman, we'll be sending somebody out there this morning.
Okay, and I would like to make my motion contingent upon Mr. Roshi paying his debt owed to the city prior to moving forward with the recommendation of the parking spaces, because I would like to have that ratified so that we can move forward to get the new tenants in without having to deal with old issues, Mr. Roshi.
I appreciate
So,
it.
with that being said, I would like to move to follow staff's recommendation for approval of this item, subject to the liens being paid in full, and that would be my motion at this time.
Very good. Let's vote on that, please. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, item number 5 is citizens' participation. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the Redevelopment Agency. No subject may be acted upon by the Redevelopment Agency unless that subject is on the agenda and is scheduled for action. So if you wish to be heard, please come up to the podium, give us your name, please, and I'd like, by a show of hands, if you're able to tell me at this time, how many people intend to speak today?
We have 10 people scheduled, sir.
Okay, very good. Then we'll put a 3-minute for each person.
I'm sorry.
Wait, we can't do it that way. If somebody has something to say, they have to come up to the mic and they have to identify themselves.
I have scheduled 10 people, but if there are others, I can't preclude them. We
Of
have
course,
a
and
lot of
I'm
people.
not going to preclude anybody either.
Yes, sir.
So we'll start with a 3-minute timer. Let me just make some opening remarks, if I may. We're delighted that the citizens are present in our council chambers during this redevelopment agency meeting. This is a great tribute to you taking your time early in the morning to come here and express your interests and your concerns to the agency, and I want to congratulate you for that. We, as a council, cannot take any action, as I said, during the citizens' participation. We're here to listen to you, of course, and hear what you have to say. We're also in a position that we've been advised that a lawsuit has been filed, and as a result of that, we really can't comment or ask questions at this time on the advice of our city attorney because of the pending litigation. But that does not preclude you from making your position known to us, and I welcome it today. And why don't you start off by identifying yourself for the record with your name and your address, please, and then we'd be delighted to hear from you, and I'd like the timer on.
Mayor, prior to Ms. Armstrong introducing herself, I had spoken to a couple of residents on yesterday in regards to item 32 being pulled forward, and being that this is under the redevelopment agency, I would just like to ask those residents to speak on the record under the redevelopment agency versus the item 32, which will possibly be more fitting
That's
at
right,
this
it is.
occasion. Is that okay?
Yeah, because it was a stretch when we would pull 32 to
To
have
keep them
people
from
speak.
having to sit here.
Right, and I don't want
and
people
wait.
sitting around unless they want to sit around,
Right.
not because they need to sit around.
So just for clarification, if you, for those individuals that I had an opportunity to speak to on yesterday, please speak under Redevelopment Agency at this point.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you, Mayor.
I appreciate it. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, Mayor and City Council. My name is Chandra Summers Armstrong. I live at 1931 Fair Avenue here in Las Vegas. I am working with Trish Duran and members of the community on the Close the F Street Coalition issue. Open F Street is what we would like to have done. We have quite a few people who came this morning. We marched from F and Bonanza this morning in the cold to be here to show our consolidation and our coalition in opposition to the closing of that street. I'd like the people who I gave cards to and any others who'd like to speak to please come forward now. This issue is very pertinent to us in the community. We believe that closure of F Street is detrimental to possible development in our community. And we're here because we want you to know that we don't feel that we received appropriate notice. We think that this should have been highly advertised so that we could make a decision about what goes on in our community. There's a lot going on here in the city of Las Vegas, especially in Union Park. And closing F Street, from our perspective, makes us believe that we are being cut off from the potential of our community being developed to the same level, if not just an equitable level, of what's going on in the 61 acres. And we ask you to hear us. We know you cannot comment because of the lawsuit, but we want you to hear us and understand where we're coming from. To us, a wall is a division. It's a blockage. It's a stoppage. And any type of stoppage precludes us from growth. I just want to comment finally that I know there had been an article about it's only 1,000 feet to the next place to enter into downtown. And I'd like to say to you that 1,000 feet to a man who has no water in the desert is life or death. And 1,000 feet to someone who's walking in the snow in a whiteout, 1,000 feet could be life or death. And to us, our community has struggled long enough and hard enough that 1,000 feet means to us whether or not we have opportunity to go forward and grow or whether we fail. And we believe that it is your duty to us as our represented leaders to help us to succeed. And we would like you to please take into consideration our concerns. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I'm Pastor Dr. S.S. Rogers of the Greater Mount Sinai Missionary Recruiting Ministries. To the mayor and council, I'm here today to get the rescinding of the votes that has been already been adhered, that we could put this back on the agenda, that we as a community will have an opportunity to voice our opinion as we are now. On yesterday, I walked around that wall 7 times. I had one of the minister, one of the pastors, I should say, to walk with me, 2 laps. But I went 7. And as I walked around that wall to look at Las Vegas and West Las Vegas, it has been separated in some fashion, to see how it was and the residents in that area. And on last night, about 9:30, I went back last night while it was dark. And I looked at Bonanza towards F to West Las Vegas, and all I could see was a wall. Darkness overshadowed that. Looked like there was no community beyond that wall. And we're here today to have that vote rescinded and that wall be removed, that we will have some light in our community. It's darkness over there. Property value is being devaluated. No economics can go into that community at this state. You look from even H to D Street or beyond D Street. There's a closure. I can remember I've been here 48 years in Clark County. And when I arrived here in 1960, as I crossed top the hill from Henderson down, I could see the lights within this city. But when I got up the next morning in West Las Vegas, I was in a different place. From the Strip back to West Las Vegas. It's been dark for quite a while. We had all our entities over there. We had grocery stores. We had markets. We had casinos. And even then, we didn't have the opportunity to share on the Strip and downtown as others. We ask now that our community would be as viable as someone, wherever they are, that we'll have the same opportunities, that we'll have the same vendor the ability to do what we need to do in our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My name is Maddie Snowden Wormwood, and I live at 2725 Revere Street, North Las Vegas, Nevada. And of course, I'm here to support the opening of the F Street. And I don't want to be redundant, and I don't want to be repetitious. But earlier we had a meeting. They said that if the ones that was coming down and was signing up to come and do this, there was going to be retaliation against people, and if you didn't want your business out there and whatever. So evidently, some things have been happening to some people about retaliation. And why and how could you retaliate about somebody wanting to live and live a decent way? I'm not up here to stay long. I'm just going to read what I got to say. I've said that, and then I'm going to sit down. Okay, this was in 1963. In memory, the image of our late beloved President John Fitzgerald Kennedy shall live forever in the hearts and minds of all who believe in the principles of democracy. That image shall give everlasting courage to those who would destroy bigotry, and shall forever haunt all who would propose bigotry. The spirit of John F. Kennedy shall forever flow in the veins of men who would wish to see the practices of democracy match its utopian principles. His spirit shall forever roam the halls and chambers of the United States Congress, and shall guide the legislative body along the path of real democracy. John F. Kennedy and democracy shall forever be synonymous. The Las Vegas Voice shall rededicate its total facilities to carry on the works this great man who gave his life so that democracy might live. The American Negro and all other minority people have lost the most sincere friend they've ever had. We must take up the sword of this fallen leader and carry on his work. His image will forever be present to inspire us, and his spirit shall flow through the bloodstream to forever keep us equal to the task ahead. With his spirit and his image prodding us, we shall wage his battles until total victory is won. We pledge ourselves and we solicit your cooperation that President John F. Kennedy shall not have died in vain. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Agnes Marshall. I live at 1666 D Street, and I've lived there for 53 years. I've been in Las Vegas for 58 years. And the little piece they told me this point, why do you believe the closing of F Street would be detrimental to the West Las Vegas community? I think it would be, because we are taxpayers. We pay our bills, we pay taxes, I pay insurance, and as I say, I've lived, all my adult life I've been right here in Las Vegas. I live nowhere but here. The 58 years I've been in Las Vegas, and I love my home, and saying I keeps it up, and I just think that's a slap in the face from the closed F Street, because they have all of the business stuff that we have to go and pay our taxes and stuff over there, and over on Grand Central there. And I think it's just bad. You should be open for us to come and go as we wish, because we are taxpayers. And I'm helping raise my great-grand, so they'll be taxpayers too. So I just want you to know that I've lived in this community all my life, and I've been discriminated against, and I just thank God for just being here.
Thank you.
Good morning. James Chapman, 3366 Fandanzo Place. Today we are on a collision course with our destiny, a destiny for economic redevelopment, which has been stopped by a wall which represents a return to economic segregation, discrimination, and oppression. It separates us from our grand entry into a new and hoped-for future. We are that diamond in the rough, just like this very city, which grew from the dust and desert. Starting in 1939, we began investing millions of dollars into our historic neighborhood, awaiting that great moment when F Street will cross that invisible line into a brighter future. Now, at this very moment, that line is no longer visible because of the very wall you have put up. And now we say to you, Mr. Mayor, City Commissioners, City Council members, and especially to the Nevada Department of Transportation, the same words which Ronald Reagan said to Premier Gorbachev, tear that wall down. A final word. Is there a hidden agenda that citizens of West Las Vegas don't know about? Is there a master plan to liberate the West Las Vegas community and to scatter its people in a diaspora in the 21st century?
Sir, if you'd be kind enough to take the hat off, thank you. Thanks.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor, council members, my fellow citizens. First of all, let me go back.
Excuse me, could you please state your name for the record?
My name is Mitchell Sales. I live at 1313 West Van Buren.
Very good, thank you.
My family, my father came to this valley probably in the late 30s. I was raised here along with 6 other brothers and sisters. Let me go back just for a moment, if I may. I went in the military right out of high school. I was 17 years old. It was in 1963. In 1963, a black person was not allowed to venture on the strips, to gamble, to dine, or to do any other of those fine item things that we participate in today. But I was sent to Vietnam to fight a war. And in my own city, in my own state, I was not allowed to venture and do things as ordinary citizens, as Caucasians and others had opportunity to do. Now, F Street has been here ever since I can remember. I was raised over here. I used to play here, shoot marbles, ride bicycles, roller skate. Bonanza was always a thoroughfare for the rich and the poor, going from west to east. Martin Luther King was always a thoroughfare for the rich and the poor, going east and west. That's all we had here. As kids, we used to sit and watch all the white celebrities come through our town, east and west, north and south. But whenever there was a venture to modernize, redevelop, we were always left out. For some reason, we were always left out. I remember as a kid, we couldn't come across Bonanza. I swam and learned how to swim at Jefferson Center on D Street. That was our neighborhood rec. That was the only place minorities could go. As a youngster, me and about 5 or 6 other black youngsters walked down Bonanza to what they call the city pool, Dula, and we entered. And we kept entering. We didn't know that we were starting a motion to stop the segregation of this valley. Well, we stopped it. We kept returning. To get in was only 35 cents. We came every day for about 2 or 3 weeks. Finally, I guess they got tired and said, let them in. The first time we jumped in the pool, they made everybody get out because they thought the water was polluted. How long do we have to carry on with this ideology? How long do we have to be second-class citizens in our own neighborhoods? Is this the Berlin Wall that you put up around us? We're not your enemy. We want to survive, get along, raise our families, earn a nice living just like you do. Mr. Mayor, you know about the mob with your museum. I know about the streets of Las Vegas and how I was segregated against growing up as a child.
I'm going to have to cut you short, though, not because I don't want to hear from you, but I want to give the others an opportunity.
Well,
as I said, we said
just one other thing. We're not the Middle East, and like I said, we're not your enemy. We're not Israel. We're not Palestine. We're not Iraq. Okay? No, he didn't bring it. We're not your enemies. All we want to do is survive, and I think F Street should be rescinded to open and be a thoroughfare for us to get back and forth, for public transportation to get back and forth. Police, fire personnel, whatever. Old people to get over to the mall. I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
How are you all doing today?
We're doing great.
Mayor Goodman, how are you?
Try to keep your comments to the 3
problem.
minutes, please.
Colin Jacobs, I'm at 1201 Virginia City. Proud neighbor of a lot of these people here today. And when I came to my first meeting for F Street, I was actually amazed to hear what little has been discussed. And we've had some neighborhood meetings along the way. I'm a real estate agent and also a community organizer, and worked tirelessly to try to make sure that this neighborhood is kept up to its optimal condition. But being that F Street is the main corridor for the west side, I would like to see it open just from a redevelopment standpoint. If we could unite as city and neighborhood to bring redevelopment funds to that area so that we can be uplifted, I think a lot of the people here would support me in that motion. I don't know how long it's going to take, but we've been, I guess, patient for the years. A lot of people have been here much longer than me. I'm a new resident, but a progressive thinker, and I'm like to think I'm fairly creative as far as trying to experiment with new things that can really increase property values and support the city as well. So I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Barbara Crockett. I live at 1204 I Street, and I've lived there for 50 years. And I want to tell the mayor and Ricky Barlow and Louise Tartanian and Reese and all of you that we love you. We love you. We voted for you. We solidly on that side of town voted for you. That's why you're sitting in those seats. Okay? And we always love you. Now, for us, we're developing the Christian Ambassadors Redevelopment. And we would like to see as many churches on that west side as possible. You have stopped a few people from opening up churches over there. But we don't get enough churches because that's our entertainment. We're wild in church and we enjoy it. And we want to have as much church. We would like to be the capital of the country as far as churches per square. And so we'd like to do that on that side of town. Now, we're going to redevelop West Las Vegas. We said no in some cases because we were saying we don't want outside developers. We want to develop it so it have its own uniqueness. It would have our uniqueness. We love everything over there. We love each other. We love everything over there. We love the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, F Street has been a street there for 50 years. And the Lord said, tear down not your landmarks that your fathers have put up. We have seen you close and make all the streets on Fremont Street a zigzag puzzle. You have broken these people downtown, closing down streets. We're not supposed to close streets. That's how we make our money. And we're not going to accept you closing F Street where there's $7 billion across the street and nothing can flow down F Street because we're designing F Street so we can receive some benefits from that money. And that redevelopment money is supposed to be some of our money. But we want to develop it. And we're working on it. We just haven't finished the planning. So I'm asking you in the name of Jesus Christ to reopen F Street. And not really reopen it. Just do what it was normally there. Put the overpass there like it was. And tear down that wall so we can go through. And we're going to beautify that street with neon signs and different things. And we're going to change it. And the reason we couldn't change, the real reason, everybody said, well, what's wrong with you guys? How come y'all don't change? Look at you, right? Well, the reason we can't change until now is because God wouldn't let us change. But now there is change. And we are going to change. And you're going to be well pleased and well happy with the way we make West Las Vegas look. And we love you and God bless you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Linda Young, and I am just recently elected the school trustee for District C for the Clark County School District.
And congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I just want you all to know how pleased I am with the development in our city, Las Vegas, and how we can now join together. I know many of you. Did I give my address yet?
No, you didn't.
Okay, Linda Young, 3625 Bradley Road, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89130.
Thank you.
I've been in this city for 32 and a half years, and I have seen this city grow. And I'm very pleased to be a part of Las Vegas. And I'm very pleased to be a part of the whole F Street issue. Let me tell you why, and I know many of you, and I know your hearts are in the right place. But I think there is a grave miscommunication here, and I think that's why your website, speaking to your vision statement and your mission statement and your goals, include all of us. But what is happening with the F Street, there are several things. There's a symbol here that has not been recognized, and I think you want to address this. The Bible says where there is no vision, the people perish. We have a vision here, and you have a vision. But when you cut off the vision, you're literally snuffing off the vision of a group of people of your city. And you don't want to do that. And what does this communicate to the students? It's saying something to the students in the Clark County School District, several things. It's saying that, number one, there is a fairness issue, an equity issue that's not being addressed. That's what you're communicating to the students that I represent in the Clark County School District. You're saying that there was a formal process that many of us said that was not adhered to. There was not the communication. We said there's a frequency of what we call F Street use that is getting ready to be stopped. And I'm going to, quickly go through this. There's a format that in terms of the mapping, that when you set that up there, you're saying to students in the school district, you're not a part of that format. And I don't think you mean that. And you're also saying to students who are going to be your future constituents, who are going to be taxpayers, that the funding issues that they are a part of is not being considered in terms of funding for these projects and taxpayer and the federal dollars that are being used. And as you know, a part of the federal dollars say that community participation has to be a part to receive those funding. Okay? And we're saying that did not happen. And you're communicating to the students I represent that there is a whole F Street contingency that's not being considered. Let me say one thing and then I'm finished. I'm representing the constituents and their students. And you want this process to be fair. And let me finalize and say that the wall W, the WAL means that when you put up a wall, the W means that you're withdrawing people. That's a withdrawal. The A means that wall is standing for anger. That wall represents an angry process. The L means that you are leaving a group of people out. And the L means that we are left out of the whole process. So please, the African proverb says, all of us together, sticks in a bundle are unbreakable. And together, we will be an unbreakable team. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate you.
Good morning, city officials. My name is Alex X. I own property at 613 Leonard Avenue. I've lived in Las Vegas since 1956. I spent 4 years in the Air Force. I want to say to the city officials today, was it not the founding fathers of this country that said taxation without representation was tyranny? You tax us equal with the rich. We are not represented. If we were represented, we would not be here today. We have never been represented. Why is it every so often we have to come back here and do the same thing over and over again? We must remember that name and faces have changed, but the game is still the same. That wall is a wall of mass destruction. Officials, dismantle your mass destruction. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor Goodman, to all of the council members. My name is Leon Smith. I'm the pastor of Pentecostal Temple on F Street. Only 3 to 4 blocks from where the wall has been placed. I consider this as a real wrong. This is a second attempt to appeal for a wall of that nature to be removed. I was one of the community workers at the time. Mrs. Pearson and others made an appeal in the same manner to remove the blockage of that wall. We operate not only a church but a child care facility on F Street. And to allow this to stand is an injustice. It brings about an inability for assessment to our community, whereas we have had a thoroughfare and even flow of traffic. Now we have been cut off, and there has to be a detour situation in order to get to areas where we reside. We are in this community 7 days a week, available to parents, available to children, and available to the community. I make my appeal today to those of you that are in authority, as well as the community. There is no real democracy without a voice of the people. So I ask this day for that wall to be removed.
Thank you.
Good morning to each and every one of you, Mayor and the City Council. My name is Gene Collins, and I reside at 1101 Ellen Avenue. I rise to speak about a couple of things, but before I do this, Mayor, you know, there's some history here between you and I, Mrs. Tarkanian, Brother Ross, Councilman Reese. I remember when you first came to town, and I remember when Mrs. Tarkanian and Tony Ayala and the other assistants, coaches, that when Tark first came here, I had the privilege of meeting you all when you first came here. Councilman Ross, we are Union brothers. I remember, Councilman Reese, when you ran against Stupak, and we was at your side supporting you when those things did occur. Now, like Pastor Smith have said, that he was a part of the new generation some 30-some years ago when we was fighting the same issues when they closed us all in, and Highland, which is MLK today, and Washington was the only thoroughfare that we had to get in and out of our community. And now here we are 30 years later fighting the same fight. See, and I'm here. I'm reminded, and I'm not a biblical scholar, nor am I a minister, but I'm reminded by the chapter of Ezekiel from the valley of the dry bones. I'm reminded of, you know the story about the dry bones. They were scattered everywhere, and they were shut off from each other. So the question was asked, shall these bones live again? See, shall these bones live again? And I'm saying to this council, yes, we can open up F Street again. See, that's what we can do. We can open up F Street because it is the right thing to do. And I'm saying to this body and my councilman, Brother Barlow, you must tell them. And I'm here to say to Pharaoh, let my peoples go. And I'm here to tell this body, this council, open up F Street so that those individuals who has labored in the vineyard as long as I have or longer have easy access to and from our local government. And thank you.
Good morning. My name is Andrew L. Thomas, and as of December 30th, I resided at 6201 Don Gasper. I'm not sure if that's in 5th Ward or the ward where the construction is going on. But I am here not so much for myself. Well, first, let me say, I want to thank the City Council persons and the Honorable Mayor Goodman for this opportunity. I do not speak for myself alone. I think I'm not a social activist, but I think I'm speaking in behalf of all the indigent people in that area where the construction is going on. I had personal experience in the last couple months there. I am a client of Clark County Social Services, and I've been issued a health card. And there is a clinic there at D Street, downtown clinic at D Street, and Wilson and D Street, Wilson Avenue and D Street. I have a 2-hour walk from Don Gasper near Lake Mead, Jones and Lake Mead area. I transcend that neighborhood as a pedestrian, and it's 2 hours and something from where I start out to Wilson Avenue, D Street Clinic. I have health problems, as we all do, speaking from the perspective of indigent people and those indigent individuals or homeless individuals in that area. I can share a personal experience having to walk and be at the clinic and to get other necessities from Las Vegas Rescue Mission, who I'm very thankful for, and I'm sure the other indigent people in that area are. What I wanted to say is that the blockage of streets that leads to the rescue area in the area where we need help does affect us on a daily basis in a very personal way. I've had been delayed or missed out or resulted in having to maybe spend the night on the streets because of the blockage. This is not going to affect me so much as an individual, but those other people who need medical treatment and seek food and clothes and shelter there in that area, in those things that the city provide for the poor, will be affected. And like I say, I'm not just speaking for myself. I'm more concerned for other homeless people or people in the predicament that I'm in, the homeless community. And I think this will have a serious effect if those avenues are blocked off and delay, make a hardship, because you have a detour. You may have a detour 3 or 4 blocks. Some people seeking help or necessities just physically not able to walk or go. They can't afford public transit because public transit prices are increasing.
Thank you, sir.
So we're on foot.
I'm going to have to limit
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Appreciate it.
Good morning, Your Honor, and City Council and City Manager. I look at Mr. Shelby because he knew about this 8 months ago, as well as Lawrence Weekly knew about it, because I get the same documents from the Transportation Department in Carson City. I'm on their mailing list for the past 3.5 years.
Will you identify yourself for the record?
My name is Christoph. First name is Peter. Christoph. I have property within the city, and I live within the county.
Thank you.
We have to understand one thing with Paul Revere. If we don't give the message across to the people, then we don't know what's coming down. I believe the city manager works with the city council reps of their people. When the RTC that I in turn go to many times on issues of importance, not because I want to, is because we leave out information that's vital to our community. If we know 6 months in advance, 9 months in advance, we can do things. Your Honor, you made these approaches 7 years ago when you was on 3rd Street, and you said, I want to be elected to represent the little people. The important meaning was you're doing that, but in the same time, the people who sit on the council with you, some of them not here now, have to understand that if they're not going to protect their ward and be out there to make sure that they understand what the RTC or NDOT's doing, then we have what we have right now, an outpour of anger and disappointment. You have made what we are looking at the greatest thing over by the Furniture Mart, the other outlets and stuff, but we have to understand that we cannot build closures. We have to have open areas of avenues so that people can come in. Doesn't matter if they're from Ward 5, Ward 3, Ward 1. You don't put a multi-million-dollar trolley car down the middle from North Las Vegas just for the fun of it. You put it because you want people to come in and you want to exit. I only come here for one reason, common sense. We're leaders. And if we don't have conscientious people to bring these things to you, we don't have leaders who are representing their people. Acknowledge this from the city manager's office. I'm not blaming Mr. Shelby, but let's understand one thing. If I get something in April, and I'm reading it, I read everything as you might. I don't take it for granted. But the RTC failed to work with the city and outline this enclosure, how it would affect. If this was in Watts, Los Angeles, I hate to say what would happen.
All right, thank you, Mr. Christopher.
But I just want to let you know, one thing you mentioned to me, and I think you should re-enter that in your mind, F Street, D Street, H Street should be named after well-known people within their entertainment. Shouldn't be F Street, should be maybe Louis Armstrong or something like that. We're not giving these people the opportunity to express themselves and be there to help them. And that's what I come down here for that understanding.
Thank you.
So if somebody says we didn't know about it from the Ward 5 Council, I like to show them the documents and the newspaper at the same time. They can stand with me. They were notified. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor,
Good morning.
City Council. My name is Teddy Russell, a resident of Las Vegas. I love you all, even Mr. Jervik. I could speak on redevelopment I just came back from, I'm somewhat of a disadvantage. I've had 2 hours sleep in 3 days. Redevelopment, we're doing fantastically when the economies are going to hell in the handbasket. I had a great experience. I spent my first 11 months in the elegant and grand Las Vegas Rescue Mission. We had our first Eldorado. The only meeting I got to was the one where we discussed people of color. I have a love affair with the West Side. There has never been an unkind word. And God is my witness. I remember being on my knees and crying and praying for Edmond Town Center to be built. And then we have Buy Low. It is fantastic. These people have been so good to me. I cannot tell you. I'm tempted to say, pardon me, I'm tempted to say that when Kenny Gwynn was governor...
Did that come from on high?
Yes, it did, as a matter of fact. This is Teddy Russell's Sprint MCS PC Magic Phone. Where was I? Who am I? What am I doing here? Okay.
I have no idea where you are.
Please, I don't want the egg timer. I'll get it all back immediately. Oh, yes. I really, truly was on my knees. Buy Low is fantastic. I'm tempted to say that when Kenny Gwynn was governor, I renewed my food stamps in a heartbeat. But we have a new governor. It took me 3 days. I will not use any expletives deleted. This is a family program, isn't it? I think so. Whatever it takes. I don't know as much as I'm attributed to know. Whatever it takes, it must be reopened. It is simply the right thing to do. There are two kinds of love that are very important to me. Philios and agape. You are family. This love is unconditional. There are 4 parts to it. Unconditional, self-sacrificing.
You don't have to use all your time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor, and you have a great day right here in Las Vegas.
Good morning to the City Council and, to, of course, our wonderful mayor, to the audience participation that is here that walked because of this cause that we all believe that needs to be addressed. To the citizens that are watching this.
Please identify yourself.
My name is Patricia Martinelli Price, 3212 Red Rock Street.
Thank you.
The interesting thing is Las Vegas has left one group of the human race out of the economic development, and that is very sad. I was born in Las Vegas, raised in Santa Fe, New Mexico in the summers, and I can tell you, I would go to the town tavern, to the Moulin Rouge to eat food there, and it is still exactly the same that it was when I was a child. I think it is very, very disrespectful. When you are elected as an official, it is for the human race and not to exclude anyone. It is not good. We have had Abraham Lincoln, also Martin Luther King and John F. Kennedy and several other elected officials on the national level that have believed that we are the human race and we need to take care of all our citizens. We have billions of dollars that is being spent in Union Park, but yet the only thing that is on the west side is a McDonald's. In respect to Andre Agassi, he's done several things there, but the rest of it looks exactly like it did 35 to 40 years ago. So the right thing to do, I feel, is to take down that wall. It should have never been put up. The people were not even asked to participate. That is our government. We vote for you and we expect that. So if you want to do the right thing, you should tear it down, because there's major groups that want to do a national march, which would actually not be good for the casinos in Las Vegas and this community, especially since we have a new president coming in that is African American. So thank you. God bless. To you, Mayor, and the City Council, and to the people of the state of Nevada, our Assembly and Senators, you are elected to do the right thing for the human race and not take one group out because they are African American and they happen to be middle class or the working poor. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is James Parker, and I reside at 6617, and I'm here to defer my 3 minutes to Mr. Washington.
It doesn't work that way, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Parker. Oh, Your Honor.
No, it doesn't work that way. You have 3 minutes.
It's been that way since the time I've been coming here.
Not when I'm the mayor.
3 minutes, please. I've been coming to this council long before everybody up here.
3 minutes, please.
Well, I know few people talk longer than 3 minutes, Your Honor. I've sitting
you're
watching
using your time, but Mr. Washington.
Okay. Well, first of all, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Okay.
Please identify yourself for the record.
Stanley Washington, 4299 Lucas Avenue. This is an extremely rewarding time for me. I'm sure Councilman Barlow should feel the same way. He has his constituency here. He's always wanting to go ahead and come here. This is truly democracy in action, something here we can always appreciate. As everyone knows, we have a African American who's president of the United States, and he campaigned on change. And I'm talking about not change just in Washington, D.C., change coming all the way down to Las Vegas, all the way down to West Las Vegas. And as one who's basically been an advocate supporter of that, I continue to go ahead and move forward on that mantra. A couple things I want to go ahead and touch bases on. The whole F Street closing, while that's not a primary, has not been my primary lead there, that certainly ties into what has been my primary lead when I come before this council, which is economics, 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 the lifeblood of this town. And the whole reason why people are so interested in getting on those seats and the county commission seats and everything we talk about. The pattern here is that going back to 2001, there seems to be a pattern of lack of knowledge. I was just informed this morning that former Councilman Weekly, now Commissioner Weekly, indicated that he had no knowledge about the F Street closing when it basically came about from NDOT. Well, that's the same words he said about the employment plan when it was brought up in 2001, when I brought it to Mr. Jerbick's attention, and the council and Weekly had no knowledge of the employment plan. He had no idea that he was supposed to be advocating for his people in West Las Vegas and not Walker Furniture down there on the other side, which there was no laws in the books to do that, okay? So, once again, here we are now. His response is that, oh, well, he didn't know about the F Street closing. Well, I think that that's probably where we're having some problems here in terms of the leadership coming out of Ward 5 in terms of that. We have leaders in Ward 5 who don't seem to be abreast of what really is going on in their community. So that being the case, Mr. Shelby here, I'm still, after putting in all my hard work and efforts in bringing to this council attention about the employment plan and dealing with the Chelsea Mall and dealing with them coming out of Maryland, associated with the job fair that was supposed to take place, that still to this day has not been answered by this council. I'm waiting for Mr. Shelby to come forth and explain how that job fair took place in Ward 1, which is now Mr. Tarkanian's ward, and not in Ward 5, which was Councilman Weekly's ward at that time, when the whole ball game was centered around that. To this day, silence from everybody up there. And I have to engage the councilmen out here. We've had discussions on this before. We're going to have some more discussions. I need an answer. We need an answer on how a job fair, with the law of the state of Nevada and the city said it was supposed to take place in Ward 5, but these residents took place in Ward 1. They weren't even told about it. I'm just flabbergasted as to how that is and what the motive is. We still need to go ahead and know. We will be seeking. Thank you, and everyone have a good day.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and City Councilman. My name is Roger Cook, and I live at 1106 I Street. I've been there for 32 years. And I just would like to applaud you guys for doing the tremendous job that you're doing. We appreciate everything that you're doing. And we understand that you have a big job in front of you when you have so many different things facing you. And some things can get by you, and I understand that, and I really understand that, because, you know, if you have tons of paper in front of you, sometimes things get by. But the F Street closure is something that we, the citizens of West Las Vegas, find important to us. And I got to say that, you know, in my early days, when I was young and good looking, I was with the Community Development Block Grant Program. In fact, I was a chairman with that. I helped to get street lights and sidewalks in West Las Vegas. And, you know, I look at things have changed, but they still stay the same. And it's time for us to work together. I'm not pointing fingers at anyone and saying that you guys are not doing your job. I'm just saying that there's a wrong that's been done that needs to be right. Dr. King said it better, you know, if you see an unjust law, then it's incumbent upon us to change it. And we have been unjustly done wrong. So we're asking that you guys look at this and consider, you know, I'm self-employed. I live in West Las Vegas. I use F Street to go do my banking over at Bank of Nevada. It's a challenge. It's, you know, not a major challenge, and some of you guys may say, hey, what's the big deal, a street? It's a big deal to me and to other people. So we wish you would consider the implications that it have on a lot of people in that area and deal with it. You know, we're not here just because we feel like getting up early in the morning and walking. We're here for a cause, not just because. So we would wish that you would take in consideration that we're here to right a wrong. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
No, he ain't jumping up like somebody want him. Somebody want him?
No, I wanted to say something.
Oh, I'll let you go first. Sit on down.
I think we were a little confused about who was going to go last. I usually was going to reserve it to Beatrice. You all know her.
We know you too, so. Would you identify yourself for the record, please?
I'm Harvey Mumford, State Assemblyman Harvey Mumford, and I live at 809 Sunny Place, and I've resided there for upwards of 38 years. And I really wasn't going to speak or say anything today, and I was just going to leave it up to my constituents to speak. But I was just listening to them, and I was so moved and so touched. And I mean, it was just something that I just couldn't believe, because what was coming from their hearts and from their feelings. And these are proud residents and citizens. And to me, it is really an honor and a privilege to represent them. And I feel feel so special that they thought to support me and vote for me. And all they're asking and all they've been saying, everyone that's come up here, all they want is a quality of life. These are very humble people, very spiritual people. You saw all the ministers come up. These are special ministers, good men. And they have helped to inspire their community. And that's why people are here today. I can't say anything further about the F Street closing, because I'll just be redundant. Because they've all got their point, and I mean, they've made their point and they got it across to you. And you know how critical this is and how much of a problem it is. All I ask you is just to do your job and do what you were elected to do. And I'm sure it will take care of itself. And so, and where you're sitting now, in about 3 weeks, I'll be sitting listening to people's testimonies. And so I know what you're going through. So I just hope you understand what you have to do. So, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Beatrice Turner, West Las Vegas. This day, am I proud of my community? I am proud of my community. When I laid in that hospital, didn't know if I was going to live or die, my prayer was, Lord, you know what? I just want to see my community rise up and say enough is enough. And today, they say enough is enough. Not all of them came, because some had to work, but they did come. You, Oscar, when we came here, and I sit here, you said that you didn't know nothing about the closure of F Street. You was going to get some information. You was going to get back to us. To this day, we ain't heard from you yet. Not one word. When Mr. Barlow here thought that little sham of a meeting over there in Doolittle, you was not there. You haven't been in the meeting in Bonanza Village. Nowhere. We never heard no more from you since that day when you sit there and said you would get back to my community. That never happened. Never happened. But you know what? I'm not, and you got plenty of ministers here, and half of them won't even let me come to their church. But that's all right. I go to Bedside Baptist. But you know what, Oscar? The Bible says, thou shalt not oppress the poor, because he is the defender of the poor. And everything you touch will crumble until you do right by my community that I live in. I look at how I took a leave of absence from my job to help you run for mayor. And I had Billy McCurdy tell me I wouldn't have a friend in City Hall because you didn't have a snowball chance in hell on winning. I said, I'll take my chance on that. You won. And you promised that you would do right by the community that I live in. You have not did that. You have not. But like I said, in that historical cemetery you ain't did nothing with, but that's all right. When the good Lord called me on, might be tonight, because I'm sure proud of my community tonight. But coming here today, when they scatter my ashes in your front yard, that's that foundation that your house sit on will shake, rattle, and roll. And the last thing I got to say, Mr. Jerby, I want you to know, I told you, when you deal with me, you going into a lion's cage with pork chop drawers on, and I meant that. But I want you to understand this: no weapon formed against me shall prosper. So that little city attorney you got the one tell me 45 days in jail. You see how I look today? That's how I look in the courtroom. So you take that back to him.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Reverend Forston Jordan. I pastor Rivers of Living Water Ministries here in Las Vegas. I was involved in an accident on Friday where I hit and run, where I tumbled 3 times, and thank God I'm here today. But been before you before. And I know that you have a tough job. God called Moses because he was the most meek man on the face of the earth.
Let my people go.
And because he had a heart toward the people. God told Moses he would destroy the people and raise up a people unto himself that would obey him. Moses said, if you do that, take my name out of the book of life. God honored Moses. He honored you. You're in a very strategic position. And I pray that you would do it in a way that would please God. And that, remember this, Jeremiah was told to go throughout the streets of Jerusalem to see if he could find any righteous. And he obeyed God, and he went up and down the streets of Jerusalem and did not find a one. Don't let that happen to you. You're in a very unique position to bless God and to be a blessing unto his people. I pray that you would vote to reopen F Street. God bless you all. Thank you.
Good morning, Your Honor, members of the council. Matthew Collister, 823 Las Vegas Boulevard South. With me is Ichi Lai, who's the smarter, younger, better-looking attorney who wrote most of the arguments that are in the brief. We won't address those today, obviously. Thank you so much for your patience. I know you've heard a lot of pent-up frustration, and you had to sit through that. I've been through that myself. I know all of this council. Personally, I know them to be good, honorable men and women. I trust that this matter can be resolved without, hopefully, any further litigation. We've tried to trace back, thank you so much, how this issue occurred as best we can in the last few weeks since we were asked to take a look at it. And it appears to me, as has been referenced earlier, the city councilman for the area did not know that it was buried in an 06 I-15 widening project that is attached to the was kind of the financing vehicle, if you will. And buried in there was a very oblique reference to the closure of F Street. But in fact, the history goes back far, far greater than that, and it's the history of it that's really of fascination to me. I know, Mr. Mayor, that you've read this book written by Trish Guerin, one of those who asked me to participate in this. And indeed, in your very eloquent comment, it says, African American residents should be recognized for the travails they endured while developing our great city. From the men who worked on the big construction projects to the entertainers who suffered the indignities of entering the back doors of casinos, etc. With those comments, you've summarized far better than I could exactly what this is all about. Access, accommodation. Should, in this day and age, African Americans still be denied access? I don't, for one moment, believe any member of this city council or your staff intended that to happen. I want to state that publicly and openly. Indeed, I think my knowledge of all of you suggests that you would never consider doing such a thing for whatever reason. And so I apologize for the necessity of the lawsuit.
Well, I'm going to interrupt you. I can't accept what you just represented, Mr.
Okay.
Collister, because the lawsuit, in my opinion, charges this council with racism under your 1983 count. and I found that very offensive. I've been instructed not to say anything. I can't help but comment on that. When you concede that we're good people and we try to do things the right way,
Correct.
That's inconsistent with racism, and that allegation, under any circumstance, I would ask to be stricken.
I appreciate that. I guess what I meant to say is that the closure of F Street does create a racial injustice.
Right? That's not the way I read it.
And I didn't mean any offense. This council, including the mayor, has always been responsive to all of my clients, to myself, and I appreciate that. But I think the existence of that closure, historically, dating back to 1939, has been an issue. I'd like to distribute a document that I found in Tricia's book and just read briefly from it. This is a letter written in 1939
For the record, please.
by a gentleman by the name of McCants, who gives his address simply as 412 Clark Avenue, West Side, as though he were not even a resident of Las Vegas. And in that letter, he petitions in 1939 the City Council as follows. We, the undersigned citizens, registered voters, taxpayers, he had the then nascent NAACP also sign off on the letter. We respectfully request this honorable councilor to provide a law that all citizens or persons within the City of Las Vegas shall have full and equal enjoyment of accommodation, advantages, privileges of all city property, including the swimming pools, the public amusements, all of the facilities of the city and the county. Of course, that's what lies at the heart of this case today. Access, ease of access. And since 1939, this battle has been waged time and time again. Many of these members, this honorable council will remember in the 70s and the 80s when 95 was first built, there were efforts made by much earlier city council and RTC members, I presume, to close all access, including at MLK. And that was stopped. It was reversed.
We'll hear from your...
We appreciate the time to be here. We urge the council to take a look at this issue based on the comments of Mr. Weekly. If in fact that's the case, hopefully we can drop the city from the lawsuit and go after NDOT, who is responsible for what we think is a real injustice. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for coming down.
I have nothing further to add.
Okay, thank God. Would anyone else like to be heard? Would anyone else like to be heard during citizens' participation?
Good morning. I would just like to make an announcement.
Please identify yourself.
My name is Catherine Duncan, 1508 Rivercrest Court. January 20th marks a historic moment in not only Las Vegas history, but American history. We celebrate the inauguration of Barack Obama. And the Las Vegas Black Historical Society is going to be presenting a Obama Ball at the Plaza Hotel, uptown Las Vegas, and we hope that you all be in attendance. We're going to rock and roll. January 20th, the Las Vegas Black Historical Society. Give us a call at 646-2551. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right, seeing none, the Redevelopment Agency is adjourned. We're going to start the morning calendar. We'll give 5 minutes? 5 minutes to get the clerk ready. 5 minutes. Yeah.